I ended up having to go to YouTube and
find tutorials. Oh,
I found some good ones.
yeah.
I couldn't find anything to help with that math.pal though.
You couldn't? Oh, I can show you how that works. But you didn't have to use that.
Is there any way you can name your invites?
They are. What does it show?
The class. It just shows like the CIT 80, like up there. CIT.
Yeah, week 13. I should have
I guess
put.
it says week 13.
Here, I can do this. I can say this is the 540. 5:40. Maybe this will show on there. PM.
Sometimes I'll go back to
Monday.
that, figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and the thing is, I found out is that this does not show up until like later tonight or tomorrow, because the one that I did this morning is still not where you can click on it. You know,
Yeah,
it takes it a while to load it out to YouTube for some reason. Okay, let's look at the Evernote thing first so y'all can understand what's going on there. There was people's grades, but I have graded some of them since then, I think. Okay, let's go back to...
So we could have just done like the A plus or A times A. Or...
Yeah, you could have just done num times num and then num times num times num for the... I didn't tell you that you had to use a predefined function. Some did and some didn't. Did anybody else in here use the math.pal? Did they look that up? It's a predefined function. Okay, I'll show you. Some people used it and some did not. Like, remember we talked about predefined functions because we used toFixed before, and we used that is not a number. Okay, you read week 12 is what you were talking about. Right here, where you were supposed to do this problem right here was the one that I wanted you to do either a pseudocode, flowchart, and JavaScript. Okay, is that the one you did or didn't do?
No, that's the one I was trying to.
You couldn't figure it out.
I looked at the bottom one, it was even worse. So I was like,
the bottom one. Oh, you mean over here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So what? Before you go there. Okay, so what I want to do in class is what I did this morning is we're going to go over this problem and we're going to make sure, and what I'm finding out is JavaScript lets you do functions a lot of different ways. I didn't think it would accept global variables, and I think it's Andrew that did it. I think you did it without global variables and it worked. Did you do squared and cubed? Okay, yeah, yours worked and you didn't pass variables. And so I'm not sure, I did not know JavaScript would do that, because what it says, create the two methods that respectively square and cube a number that is passed to them, returning the calculated value. So the way I intended for you to do it was to pass from the main the number that was prompted to be squared, and pass it into the squared function, and then return the answer to the main and print it out. Yours ran, but and also the way Andrew did it, I found out several of my students in my other class, I was going to make this a little bigger so you could see it. In my other class, interpreted it the same way you did. Okay, what I intended for it to be is that the user enters, like say they enter a 2 for the number they prompt. Okay, then it should have squared the 2 and printed out 4. Then it should have cubed the 2 and printed out 8. Okay, but Andrew did what several interpreted it to do. That's what he did, right? And so that's perfectly fine, because evidently the way it's worded, you were not the only one that did that. So if you understand at the back what he's saying he did was he took the value after he squared it, and then he cubed that squared value. So if, let me look at a couple of them. Yeah, this is, no, is this yours? That's it.
Looks like that's mine.
Yeah, that's yours. Okay, and you said it wouldn't run. Let me see. I
Yeah,
thought
we
I got
couldn't
it.
get to
I
run.
thought I got it to run. Enter your number. Say you enter 2. Oh, it didn't. Okay. It didn't actually run it just. But function square num. Now what? I think math, is it not capitalized? Oh, I'll have to look up that.
I think, well, I think maybe it is, but I didn't.
Okay, here's what you did not do. You did not pass anything in here to square. Okay, see down here. Okay, here's what she did. This is her main, which is correct. Variable square, variable cube. And then she says while num, but where's your prompt?
It's down below. No, where'd it go?
Oh, it's up at the
Oh,
top.
it's at
I
the
see,
top.
it's at the top. Okay, there's her prompt and her variable num. So main actually starts here, but these functions are bypassed in main until they're called. So even though she's got this up here at the top, it doesn't interpret this, it doesn't run this as straight down procedure oriented because it doesn't know what function is until there's a call to it right here. So it doesn't do anything with that. So she gets her prompt, then she initializes or declares these 2 variables. She says while num is not equal to 0, call square num and pass num and 2. So what you have to do is up here, you have to also set up another variable. We can say num1 or something like that, comma power. Let's just do that. And so then I have to set 2 more declare num1 and var power. Now let's see if I can get it to just do the square. If that works, then you can fix the cube. I'm going to just comment this line that goes to the cube out right now. And she did it the way I thought I wrote it, 2 square and num, but I can see how it could be done either way. Okay, let's go here. Save it. Let's see if that did anything. Enter your number 2. Okay. Okay, it still didn't run. So I'm going to debug it here a minute. Let's see what it's passed, if it's getting anything. Square equals square num. Square num, comma 2. Actually, I don't have to have a variable 2. I can just, I really don't have to pass this. What would be easier to do is just pass the prompted one and instead of 0, this should say num1. That's why the other one didn't work. I could have left it power and put power there. Okay, is my display, maybe my display isn't working. Let's see, power. And I still need to look up math.pow. While num is not equal to 0, I'm going to say put there, and let's see if it's getting back from the function. JavaScript alert, it got the 2 right before the while, but then it never comes back from the function. So let's put an alert inside the function and see if it gets there. Okay, I'm going to put right here, oops, alert, 1, let's see. And it got 2 again. Okay, so it's the math.pal that it doesn't like. So let me go over here. I was trying to do it without.
Maybe a couple of them, I knew it done that one.
I think that's what it is. Let me look at it and see under here. It should give us number methods. Thought it was 2 string, 2 x, return to string number around the written. 2 fixed, 2 precision, the number method it's not showing. Okay, let me do this. Should have a search here. That's what I'm going to do instead of using W3 schools. Math dot. There it is in W3 schools. I just didn't find it. Okay, yeah, it's capital. I was thinking that it was, but it's been long since I used it. Okay, so now if I just say math, and I take this out. So that may be, well, no, you still had to pass into it. So where is that the only place that it's used? Yeah, and I should have known because the whole thing in Dreamweaver would have been green. Let's see if that at least does the top one. There it is. There it is. Your number is 2. Your number squared is 4. All you had to do was capitalize the M. But you didn't pass, you weren't passing the variable in either. So you have to do that. Also, let me do this.
Okay,
Uh-oh, but it's not ending. Somewhere your number is equal to, didn't work.
I think I didn't do it well.
Here's document.writeLine. Then you don't ask for this prompt again.
Should the prompt be in the prompts right below? the
Yeah, it
loops?
needs
Is
to
that
be in the
needs to
bottom.
be in there?
Yeah, it needs to be in the bottom of the while. So if we take this.
I still struggle with the loops in the
Okay, so that will make, that should fix it. Anybody have any questions about this one? See, go ahead.
Did you use the num1 for the cube part 2, just like you did for the?
Yes, you can, because you know why? Can anybody tell me why? Why can we use this same variable here, down here?
Create a function, a variable in a function that doesn't carry out outside of that function.
Very good. It ceases to exist when we return square, right? So even though we use num1 again here, it doesn't know that there was one previously. Okay?
How do you relate them back? How do you, if you want to keep all the variables from the first one, could you do that?
Yeah, if you return it to the main into another, like, okay, the way, okay, let's look.
So you created the main method and then created those other 2 functions. As long as it was redirected back to the main, it would still apply to the main.
As long as you, right here, whenever you returned, if you wanted to retain the num1, you would say return num1, but you would have, oops, but you would have to give it a variable to go into down at the bottom too. So let's look at Andrew's. I'll show you a different.
Put up a new one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay,
that, let's see if I fixed it or not.
well, it was working.
Well, I mean, fix what you were.
Oh, passing parameters, okay.
Well, I didn't do parameters.
Well,
Figure out how you're getting that math dot how function to work. Is it
Oh.
all it
Oh,
had in
that's
there was
cool. It worked.
1, 2, or 0, 0? What does that got to do with cube or square?
okay, math pow, the way that works is because when you go to square num, you call it and you pass like the number 2, right? And you go up here and it's going to put the number 2 in this variable, which is the parameter, right?
Okay.
Because the one that's calling, it's called an argument, and it's making a copy of the value of it. And it's going to place it into this one. Does that make
So
sense?
square num's also
It's a function name. So then when it goes down here and it goes to math.pow, it's saying in this one, use whatever variable was passed here, num1, and this function, you don't see the code behind it because it's a predefined function like toFixed was, but it takes 2 parameters, and the 2 parameters it takes are a variable that you want to be multiplied or raised to a certain power.
and then you put your exponent.
Right.
Okay. I
Right.
was wondering how that worked.
And so, see, when we first did it, it would have worked this way where we said power and she passed 2 to it. But I needed to, the only reason, then I would put power here, right? So that way you could change the power down here and you could actually have the user enter to what power. But because I just told you to square and cube, you didn't need to do that.
Do you want me to, I got it to where it's doing the cube and the other one.
Yeah.
You want me to resubmit it?
Oh, sure. Okay, so now let's see. This one is where Andrews is. And then a few other guys have one. Oops, where'd that go? Come on, come back. That's the wrong. There it is. 6. Okay, this one is the one that I don't have downloaded. That's the wrong class, isn't it? Okay, so this one. What did you change?
You said that in output it, a couple of the square and the cube.
Oh, I see what you changed. Okay, but here's what I want to show you that he didn't do and it worked, and I don't really know. I did not think that JavaScript, I knew Java would let you declare a global. He's declared, let's see, here's his 2 functions, and they don't use math.pow. See, they just say square equals num times num, cube equals num times num times num. But look, he doesn't pass anything up here. So he says variable num, and then inside his while loop, he does the prompt to enter a number. Only other thing you need to say, or 0 to quit. Then he calls squared, but he doesn't pass num. So I didn't think JavaScript would do that. So he calls squared, and it just knows to use the value of num from here. I have no idea how. Because JavaScript isn't supposed to work like that. So, but if you try it in Java, it won't work like that. Cubed, JavaScript's a little more forgiving in some instances, and in other instances, it's real picky. Because here, if we go down here and put, like, I don't know, let's see, let me put an alert up here and see how it got that. alert num. Because before I ran this, I looked at it and I'm like, oh, that won't run. And then I ran it and it ran. So I'm like, oh no. But the logic is good, except that what the problem asks you to pass. So the only thing that I would do where it should work all the time, and I told you to return the value, well, his returned the value because he printed it out here and not in his function. So let me make for sure that that runs again. I didn't change anything, did I? But put an alert in there, right? Okay. Please enter number 2. JavaScript alert. Num is 2 up in the function. The number is 2, the number squared is 4, the number cubed is 8. Then you should be able to put 0 in, and it should end. Goodbye. So his output did work. The number is 2, the number squared is 4, the number cubed is 8. It does not follow the rules. And I cannot tell you why. I don't know. JavaScript is, it doesn't always go by the rules, because the idea is, but the logic is exactly what it was supposed to be. Your function should be at the top. You declare your input variable. You declare 2 variables that you want to print out. I especially don't see where you got square. Where did you get square to print out? That is,
It's overly complicated, haven't you?
man, look at this. Where
This
is
a lot more
square?
simple.
Where is square and cube? Okay, and it should not even be known according to the rules down in the main.
There are no rules.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
basically,
you
when
did.
have a semicolon after that cube on the variable,
I don't.
or on the break.
Oh, I've seen it not work without semicolons, but I see, because that rule that you told me, remember, the variable ceases to exist.
I thought that was only if you created it in the function.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe
But
the whole
so
input
these are global variables, the way you've set them up.
How do you know the difference between global variable?
Well, because it,
Variable inside that function.
see, this variable is the same name here in main as it is in this function. Therefore, it's considered global because it's known throughout the whole program. Whereas if I change this and I said cube 1, and then I said print out cube 1, it should choke.
Should.
Let's see. It still worked.
I want whatever program easy.
I know, that is crazy. Now 0, it got out. Man, I wonder if I didn't save it. That's pretty good. Some people can't get theirs to run no matter what they do.
We can-
And
I'll
his-
try to
Yeah,
sabotage
I
it.
spent 4 hours on this the other day. I
Yeah.
was at 3 o'clock in the morning
So,
working on it.
I've read
so
it about
Joseph,
6
or
times.
what's your name in the back now? I forgot. Joseph and Matt. Do y'all have any ideas? Did y'all do it something like this, or did you work it out? No?
I read it about 6 times and I was like, nope. I'm just gonna ask her to figure it out.
Well,
I read it and said note for a little bit, and then I came back at like 10 o'clock at night. I was like, no, I'm just gonna type this in and see if it works.
and it did. So I'm going to have to ask my colleagues that are program all the time now, because that doesn't make sense how that worked. Because that says cube. See, cube 1 is not defined anywhere. So
It's defined in the function.
yeah, but I don't print it out till down. Oh, I didn't change that to cube 1. Let me print that to cube 1. That's what I thought I did. Save that to cube 1. Save. It still did it. Let me try it again. 3. Wow. That is, unless that's a key term or something, but it,
Computers are getting smarter.
yeah.
Maybe like Terminators are all gonna come alive.
Yeah, that must be it. That is crazy because you can read the rules in the book, right? The rules in the book say this should not work. Well, that's pretty cool. All right,
So
so
the right way to do it is to put num in what the function parameters.
well, yeah, you should have passed. You should have, like this here. You said square, so you should say square equals squared num. And then up here, if you were using another language, it would not have done this. I might even try it in Firefox here in a minute. So here it has square equals num. So this needs to say square 1 or something. It should be a different variable. Square 1. So this is what I wanted you to do, is to pass like num 1, and this should be 1, just to make it something different. So now what should happen is you pass what you prompted here. You make a call to this function squared, and you pass whatever the number, like 2 that we put in, up here into num1, and then you square it into this variable. You return that variable down here to this. It will set anything that's on this side. The result of this goes into it's assigning it to the left side of the equal sign. And then it should print out square there. But that's a lot of extra work.
You can use square anywhere throughout the loop that you need to, and it'll use that function from
Right. But see, now it shouldn't know square 1 because of what Andrew was saying. Square 1 is only defined in the function. So if I come down here and I say, after the function, I say alert square 1. Oh, yeah, I didn't put a parenthesis. My keys are off. Okay, and that has to be lowercase also, not square 1. So now when it does an alert, it should not even put anything out. Who knows? Let's see. In theory. JavaScript 4. Okay, I did that right. Please enter a number. See, it didn't put the alert. It didn't do the alert because it didn't have a value for square 1, because it ceased to exist. So the reason his worked is because he did not create any of those functions. Any of those variables in his functions. He didn't return anything either. If he would have tried to return a variable here, even though he didn't create any here, then if he returned anything other than what is defined here, it wouldn't have returned because he created it in the main.
Okay, so when you put in return there, how does it know that you're returning it back to, where is the main method defined at? Or do you even have to?
You don't have to use, it knows where it starts. Anytime it sees the word function, it says, oops, I have to have a call for that. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
And so the function starts here and ends here, right? So it goes down until it finds something that is part of the main function, which is here. Now, other languages require that you have a main, but in fact, C++ does, Java does. You have to have a main. You just don't in scripting. Okay. Okay. So let's go to, in Evernote, what I had you to do next. Let me go back to, come on, quit hiding. Okay, what we were going to do next is problem number 4 at the end of the chapter. I already have it pseudocoded. I'm sorry, pseudocoded in JavaScript, I guess. So, where's that at? Number 4 says to create the logic for a program that accepts input values. It always calls me when I'm in class. For the projected cost of a vacation. That's when I had at least message him. Okay, now 620. Okay, so I'm sorry. Input values for the projected cost of a vacation and the number of months until vacation. Pass both values to a method that displays the amount you must save per month to achieve your goal. So in this case, it's saying that you can display it inside the function, right? So do you have to return anything? You don't unless you display it in the main. I think the actual JavaScript that I have here, where did that go? Actually returns it. Let's see, chapter 6. Okay, this one is actually going to return, and I don't like, that's not a very good variable for it, but okay, what this one does, which I'd rather put this down here too. Let me get it down here with. All right, so here's my function, and down here's where my main starts. So let's start with the main before we look at the function. We've defined how much we're going to save is a variable that we're going to need, and then cost of the vacation and the length of time that we have to save are these two variables. So these are the two input variables, cost and time. Now, I'm going to make a call to a function. I called the function total savings, and whatever it calculates is going to be returned here so that I can write it out here, okay? I could not return anything and write it out up here. Okay, so if I wanted, which is really what it told me to do, I think I was experimenting with it and asking things why that's like that. So here I would say document dot right, oops, right line. This is your savings. I called it product there. I don't know why, because it's not even a multiplication, but okay, so there I pass values, but into the function, and I call cost the money, how much it costs is the money, and then how long I'm going to stay is time goes into here. So I had to define these variables because they're only used in the function. And I said money divided by stay gives me the answer to savings. And then savings or product equals product.toFix. So it'll come out with 2 decimal places, document.WriteLine product. So I'm going to comment it out right here. And because I'm not returning a value, then I don't need anything here either. I don't need this variable, right? Y'all follow what I'm doing? No?
No.
Okay. So this is my main program right here. Because my program says to ask the user for projected cost of a vacation and the number of months until the vacation, right? So these are my 2 variables. Then it says pass both of these 2 values. Well, I have to prompt the user to get those 2 values, right? So this would be declarations. This is my input. And then it says to create a method that passes those two values and displays the amount you must save per month, right? To achieve your goal. That's like a math word problem, right? All right. So here we're going to call a function and we're going to pass cost is the argument that's going to go into this parameter money.
Where would you get stay?
Oh,
Why would you create a function? Why wouldn't you just say number or total cost divided by a number of months? Would that have been like
right here. Yeah. But the reason we're doing a function is to
We're
learn.
doing something simple to learn how to use the function instead of doing something crazy complicated.
That's
Doing
right.
that on top of trying to learn how to use functions.
You got it. You would make a good teacher. Okay, so we're passing time into stay and cost into money. And so we had to define those variables here in the function because they weren't known. And then I used, this is really not a good,
So stay is just something that you created. It's not
yeah, it's just a variable.
You just came up with something to. Why didn't you use the same? Why didn't you use time?
Well, because that's what we were talking about earlier. It would work.
Okay.
But
So
the,
to ask.
that's what you were going to ask?
Yeah.
Okay, if
That's
you
what I
do
was-
that, okay, let's do that. If we do that, we're making those very known in both places, but they're actually not the same variable.
How do you know how to find these functions? Like what functions? you
This
use?
function we made up. The only predefined function here that you had to look up was toFixed. We made this one up because it tells us to. It says, create a method that passes both values into it and then displays.
Oh, I thought you had to have a predefined function.
Oh no, the predefined functions are just an added bonus. Okay, like so that this would work right, we use the toFixed predefined function. But you don't, just like in squared, we didn't have a predefined function the way Andrew did it, just the way Laura did it. Okay. So we use math.pow with hers, but we did not in this one. So this is a function that we made called total savings, and we're passing cost and time. So if we do that, we don't need these two variables. So we need to change this to cost divided by time. But what I'm telling you is it's not the same variable, even though it has the same variable name. Because when this is over, this cost and time is gone.
Unless you use it.
No, his was different because it was created here. So since these are created here, I'm not sure how, let's see. Okay, I'm going to see, right. Yeah, let's see if this works.
You're just creating a whole function for the
Except
mathematical
for-
part of the actual.
Right,
calculation.
that's
You're
right.
Just using, making a variable for it, basically. So it'd have been the same thing as writing out variable. cost
Yeah, I
divided
could
by
have
time.
written I could have, to make it shorter, I could have gone down here and instead of saying total savings equals cost times time, I can say total savings equals cost divided by time. And then document.write line total savings. Okay. This is just saying I have this task and let's do it in a function. Okay. So that you can see how functions work. Because later on when you do really long programs, you have long tasks and you can assign them to different people to do the task. And you just go down through the program and set up the main thing. Okay, here's one. Please enter the total cost. Let's say it was $1,000 for the vacation. Enter the number of months. Let's say we had 12 months to save. This is your savings account, 83.33. So 1,000 divided by 12 is 83.33, right? So it did it, but it printed it out inside the function. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize my battery's low. We may get to stop early. I had my cord downstairs, but not here. Okay, so where is it at? There it is. All right, so in this one, it did work to do it that way. And here's another thing I want to try. I'm going to copy and paste this. Copy, and I'm going to comment it out up here. Even though I didn't return it, but I used the same variable names. Let's see if it'll print out here. What do you think?
I would think it would.
You would think it would? Let's see. 12. Okay. No. Okay, so why did that not work?
Oh, because you created
Product.
inside function.
Right. See, product was only known inside there. Oh. I've been doing that all day. Okay. So now, before I lose my charge on here, let's look at the rest of Evernote. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. It says this was the one you were supposed to do. Then we did number 4. Number 7. Okay, number 7 is a little more difficult. I told you to complete this one, and it will be due on Wednesday. Okay? Well, number 7 is the one you're supposed to do. We're going to do this one down below it. That says, we will work the following class. Create the logic of an application that calls a method that computes the final price for a sales transaction. Okay, so the method is going to do this, right? It's going to compute, it's going to do all the computation. So the main method contains variables that hold the price of an item, the salesperson commission expressed as a percentage, and the customer discount expressed as a percentage. So you're to create a calculate price method that determines the final price and returns the value to the calling method. So the calculate price method requires 3 arguments: product price, salesperson commission rate, and customer discount rate. A product's final price, and this is where the mathematicians come in here. The product's final price is the original price plus the commission amount minus the discount amount. But the customer discount is taken as a percentage of the total price after the salesperson commission has been added to the original price. So you get to do that part. Okay. So now, we're going to look at, I already have a pseudocode started, but I didn't get to the the JavaScript. So here is one way of doing it. Doesn't mean it's the only way. I'm trying to get these lined up. Word was giving me a problem this morning. Okay, so if our class, let me go up here. Our class, we're going to call sales transaction. So if you look in the pseudocode in your book, I just did that because the book uses classes for pseudocode. And the reason it does that is because in C++, that's what you create, is classes, and they're cataloged in a library. So at the top is the function, but we're going to go down and do the main first, because this is what we do second, and you get to tell us if we did it right, because we haven't tried it yet. Okay, our main starts here. So we have declarations. We have 3 variables, right? 3 input variables, and then we have a total that we need to come up with, right? So we have 3 input variables: price, sales commission, and discount. So how are we going to get those? Input. So in pseudocode, I didn't write out the prompts. I just said input, price, sales commission, and discount. Okay? So in JavaScript, those would be prompts, right? So we made our declarations. This one is the one that we're going to use to return our final price into, right? Because our problem said to return the final price to the main, right? Y'all remember reading that? Okay, so calculate price, and then I'm going to send these arguments to my function, calculate price. And if I do this the way that it was done in the book, they always declare their variable when they pass them. So they say num cost, num commission, num discount.
We have to prompt those first. Yeah.
We did down here, right down here, input. But I didn't say prompt because it's a JavaScript. We're doing pseudocode.
Okay, I was about to say, so but.
So yeah, each one of them
you would
needs to
put
be.
that before the function, or can you assign
No, you do have to put them. See, these are right before we call the function. It says input.
okay, but can you design the function before you start doing your prompts and stuff, or do you need to do your prompts before you create your function?
Well, this is the pseudocode, so we can go ahead and pseudocode the function. We're just pseudocoding it.
I was just asking for as far as JavaScript would matter.
No, JavaScript, no. It doesn't matter when you're writing it, but if you try to run it, you want to either have your function. I saw somebody's that ran with the function in the middle of it, but it should either be at the top or the bottom for most languages. Okay, it should not be in the middle of a main section. Okay, so here we've called these different names, which you guys were showing that we didn't have to name them different names, right? We could just, then if we didn't, we wouldn't need these three variables defined here, right? You follow what I'm saying? In that last program, we passed price, sales commission, these three arguments right here, price, sales commission, and discount. We passed those same variable names up here in that.
Already got value.
But the way I did it in this pseudocode is the way they do it in the book, where you pass the argument to a new variable name that's only known inside the function. Now, here's the reason, another reason to do that is that you want those functions to be self-contained so that you could store them somewhere and it wouldn't matter what main they would run. Whereas if you have the variables declared in main and they're the same variables that you're using in the function, then you don't redefine them, then that function will only work with that program. You follow what I'm saying? And that's part of the reason for using methods is reusability. Okay, so here we've got a variable. This is like a sub price. See if this calculation looks right. We were doing it and it was time for class to be over. So it's kind of, I'm not sure if it's correct. Okay, so here's what we did. The cost is plus the cost times commission. Because it said in our problem,
That's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
cost plus commission is what the discount is calculated on.
okay, so then this total price times the discount, but that's not going to give the final price because that's just the discount, right?
It has to be deducted off of it after.
Yeah, so then it needs actually three. How can I write it in one long?
What does the problem say? How do you get your total price?
Oh, okay.
Total price times discount in parentheses and then minus.
Okay, so here's what it was that was hard to figure out. A product's final price is the original price plus the commission amount minus the discount amount.
Well, you're gonna get your commission amount from your original amount. So you have to have your original amount to begin with, right? Before you can calculate your final price. So you're gonna take your original amount and then you're gonna get your commission from that. And then what do you do after that? What does it say?
Then it says minus the discount amount. And then it says the customer discount is taken as a percentage of the total price after this commission has been added to the original price.
Okay, so what's your percent?
Well, that you have to input.
Oh, so it asks you for it.
It asks you for it. So
So you're gonna start with
So you
original
input
price.
the
Input.
original price.
Yeah, original price, input original price, and then it'd be original price plus commission minus discount.
Okay, so if I use this,
The
if,
So you're not
discount
entering
would
the
have to
discount.
be a percentage also.
Well, you entered the percentage, correct?
yeah, you enter the percentage of discount and the percentage of commission.
So you would
Yeah.
say original price plus the commission
Original price,
minus discount.
well, that's what I first said. So this is like the original price is here. And so you're saying take the original price plus, I thought you had to multiply the original price times the percentage of
You
commission.
do before you can do
To
that.
get the commission,
the
yeah.
discount.
you
Yeah,
have to
okay,
make
so that
price.
would be, so isn't this right here? Price
Yeah.
times commission and add it to the original price.
I would have set it up two different.
Like this is,
sections, though.
well then what?
Well, I mean, I guess I'd have made three.
That's what I was starting to do, because then this is the
Because that was
total
confusing because you were trying to do two different,
variables.
yeah.
Yeah, so
you tried to
here,
make it one.
yeah, so here is price plus price times commission. So that gives us the original price, right? Or the,
Gives you the
Well, original price is
plus
from input.
commission.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would have defined each one of them before I would have done any kind of.
and then you wouldn't, okay, this one would have been original. I think it says it's gonna go any minute. Sales commission and discount, and this is final price. Okay, so up here, I'm gonna pass original price. But this would be original price times sales commission. So that gives us the commission price, right?
Right.
Okay, so then wouldn't we take the commission price times the discount percentage
And you deduct that amount.
and then deduct it from, okay, so this should say total price again, right? Total, because we're calculating total price is equal to,
Are you using
Price
total
times
price
the
or final price?
discount.
see, final price is down at the bottom where I have to return it. See, I'm going to return into final price. But okay, here, this is the discount, and that's the discount amount, actually.
Well, you have to deduct the discount amount from the total price.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So I have to come down here
So you have to
now
apply your
and
discount.
say,
And that's your final.
yeah, this one should say maybe FP. So now my total price is still what I should subtract it from, right? So
Yeah.
it'd be, I'll just
It's
call
total
this
price.
and price is what I'm gonna return is equal to total price
You would subtract
minus
for-
discount price. Is that all right?
Oh, okay.
And then I would return final price, FINPRICE. And this is gonna go into this one. Only here I should say original because I changed it. And then I output. So what it's saying is whatever the result of this function is, put it into here. Oh, but I used the same one here. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was at the wrong place. So this, whatever value I got here is going to be returned into final price. It should there. So the only thing that needs to be done is this needs to be JavaScripted, which we might have time. Let me make sure that you understand the rest of what was in Evernote. And that's so tiny you can't see it. Let me pull it up here. But this is probably going to crater on me any second. That said, if you don't plug it in to a power outlet, it's going to shut off. So let's go all the way down here. Okay, so this is the one that we're working on. And so before next time, I want you to go into Khan Academy, or you can look at tutorials on arrays, but I'm going to lecture on arrays starting on this week, the end of this week, with the other two classes. So I will be opening the quiz, but what I'll do for you guys, I'll leave yours until Monday at midnight, so I can remind you in class. And so that's when the that will be, but you will already have this assignment due before we come to class. Page 192, number 2A and B, but I will go through some of this in my Wednesday and Thursday classes. Okay, so I'll lecture over chapter 5 and go through some of it, but I will go through some more problems in here on Monday, however many y'all want me to go over again, but at least work on that assignment here so that I know after you've read the chapter. And it tells you here to skip parallel arrays. Don't do the part page 175 to 184, but do this part and then remaining within array bounds, page 184, okay? And then I gave you also some examples, an example file. There it goes again, it's telling me. Let's see if we can get it, how far I can get. So I'm going to, trying to decide if I'm going to start over. I'm going to call this file, save as, and this is problem, this is just chapter 6. And what are we going to call this one? This is assigned problem, because this one is not in the book, right? Yeah. Okay. But you're going to do number 7 and put on your number 7 on page 246. And it should be almost just, it should be a lot like this one that we're going to do here, if it lets me. Okay, so I'm going to take my function. I'm going to see how much of it I have to change. Actually, I'll take the main first. It's that part. Maybe it'll let me put most of it in there, except for I have to create my prompts. Okay, come on. Come up. No, not that. I touched the wrong thing. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. I'm going to leave that there. And I'm going to leave those prompts and see if declarations. Okay. It may have been easier to just type them in. I don't know. We'll see. Original price. Variable. Variable discount. And this one should be over here. Okay, so there's my declarations. I don't need this. This has nothing to do with that. And now for my input, I've got to do prompts, right? So I'm going to use my variables that I've declared up there. I'll say original price. Oops, no, that doesn't work. I'm going to actually use this so I don't have to type so much. Original price equals prompt. Please enter price of, what was that? Price, was it price? Isn't that in? Oh, that's what it was, sales price. Sales price. Okay, and this would say ORIGPRICE. And the second thing that I have to prompt is sales commission equals prompt. Please enter the, I'll make it short, commission, and that would be